and I'm super excited to introduce Jeannie Chung and Troy Hansen of WestEdge. We're going to talk all things WestEdge, and before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about Jeannie and Troy and how they've come to this amazing creation and this design fair. So a little background about WestEdge. WestEdge is actually now in its 6th year, and it is the West Coast premier contemporary design event featuring almost over 175 premium design brands, 3 full days of programming, culinary demonstrations, cocktail and networking receptions, shopping, and more. The event takes place in Santa Monica in the historic Barker Hangar on the 18th of October to the 21st. I know that sounds like it's coming up soon, and we have so many things going on in October. That's why we wanted to get ahead of the game and give you the pre-show and give you the lowdown of why you need to get to WestEdge. So a little bit about Jeannie Chung. Thank you so much for being here with us, Jeannie. Jeannie is based in Southern California. She's a luxury interior designer and retailer, and is known for an eclectic design aesthetic that bridges classic design principles with a modern twist. Her extensive knowledge in historical styles and periods equips her with the confidence to mix vintage with modern so that the spaces she designs appear as though they are effortless and have evolved over time. In addition, well, Jeannie does a lot of things, but in addition to setting up her own interior design firm, Jeannie owns a retail and to the trade showroom in Pasadena, which has become a favorite go-to destination for both designers and design enthusiasts who seek a unique and artfully edited selection of new and vintage home furnishings and accessories. Through her design blog, Cozy Style is Chic, Jeannie has become recognized as an influencer in the industry. She's a regular speaker on trade show designer panels. She's speaking on one of our panels soon, which we're really excited about. And she has served as a High Point Market style spotter. She participated as a designer for the Pasadena Showcase in 2017 and 2018. And this last year, she had over 5 rooms, which gives you a little taste of who Jeannie is. She's insane, but in a good way, and currently serves on the board of the ASID Pasadena chapter, heading up communications and the advisory board for the Design Influencer Conference. So please help me in welcoming Jeannie Chung this morning. Thank you, Jeannie, again for being here. And then we have Troy, and I'm so excited that we've been able to collaborate with WestEdge. Ivy is so excited to be involved. Jeannie has raved about WestEdge over the last 2 years, and this is our chance to show you what Troy and Megan have really created. Troy has managed and produced key design events in the US for the last 20 years. In addition to co-founding WestEdge, Troy managed ICFF in New York and launched the Art Digest show in 2000 and co-produced that event with his current business partner, Megan Riley, from 2005 to 2012. Prior to the debut of WestEdge. So please help me in welcoming Troy. Thank you, Troy, for being here. And I know you guys were out late last night at your party, so I am appreciative that you're here bright and early with us. And we're excited to kick this off. So what are you gonna learn today? 1, what to expect at WestEdge. 2, how to make the most out of WestEdge. And 3, the power of actually being at WestEdge. And of course, what to do while you're in town in beautiful Los Angeles. So I'm gonna have you kick it off, Troy, and tell us, how is WestEdge different from other design markets across the country?
Well, thanks for the opportunity to talk about WestEdge. And first of all, we are so excited to be working with Ivy as well. So thanks for hosting this webinar. Thanks for your involvement this year. We are really excited about this year's fair to be our largest to date. We'll have, as Risa mentioned, about 175 exhibitors. We've completely maximized our show floor this year. So we've added as many exhibitors as we possibly could to the mix. WestEdge has been growing steadily year over year, but this year you'll find some old favorites for those of you that have been to WestEdge before. We have a number of returning brands, but we also have a great mix of new brands that we've been able to accommodate, some of which are larger corporate entities, maybe some of the building products, kitchen and bath brands. My personal favorite, what I'm most excited about, are some of the new younger independent designers. At WestEdge, we allocate an entire footprint to independent designers that are not part of a bigger corporate entity. So the men and women who are really designing and building everything in their own basement or their garage, but it's all premium quality lighting, furniture, floor coverings, et cetera, et cetera. So the exhibitor base is certainly exciting. We have several new feature areas, which we can talk about a little bit more in more detail as we get through this webinar. But one of the things I'm most excited about this year is an exhibition called Women's Work. So we've been wanting to do something like this to celebrate women in design for actually since right before the 2016 presidential election. So in hindsight, our timing may have worked out better, but this is not, Women's Work is not an exhibition that has any, WestEdge is not a political statement by any means, but we felt the timing was right to highlight the contributions of women in our specific industry to add to this ongoing dialogue about how women are underserved. And again, we're not political, but that's our official stance. Women's Work is going to feature about 12 premium level or designers who are creating premium level furnishings. Gula Jansdieter from here in LA, Egg Collective from New York, Brenda Houston from Dallas, Kelly Lamb, a local LA favorite. So much talent with this exhibition. So anyone coming to the fair, I would highly recommend that you take some time to peruse through the Women's Work exhibition. It's a 400 square foot space. Most of the designers will be there, so you can actually have one-on-one conversations with them. But I would say that is personally the most anticipated part of this year's event. And then I can go on and on. We have new programming. We've got a much larger culinary schedule this year. We have a series of live demos from famous chefs coming in throughout each day. Of course, we have our opening night party, which has become, if you don't mind my saying so, something of a fixture on LA's fall design calendar. So we're very excited about that. But that's it. We'll go through a little bit more through the website as Jeannie and I exchange some thoughts. But that's it in a nutshell. There's a whole lot new to see. Plus, we've maintained everything that everybody loves so much about WestEdge. So
that's amazing. Are you in a new space this year, or you were at the Barker Hangar last year? How are you able to fit so many more vendors into the design fair this year?
So we are still at the Barker Hangar. Last year and in years past, we've been at the Barker Hangar since we launched, but we've always allocated a certain amount of square footage for feature areas that weren't necessarily exhibitors, but a lounge or cafe or things that could more easily be moved outside of the hangar, which we've done this year. So we've reclaimed about 2,500 square feet to allocate to new exhibitors this year, which in comparison with other big trade shows, we're certainly small by comparison, but we're also we'd like to think we're a highly curated event where you won't necessarily have to weed through aisles of things that may not be as interesting to you in order to get to the good stuff. At WestEdge, we hope that everyone agrees that around every corner you'll find something very interesting. So that's a long, rambling answer to your question, but we have been able to add about 30 exhibitors as a result of that expanded footprint this year. So it's exciting.
No, and I like that you said highly curated, because I do feel like, if you use every inch of the space appropriately, designers can really get through. They can find the reason why I believe most designers are going to design fairs like WestEdge is to obviously network, but also see new products and see new stuff and see stuff that they might have missed at a bigger show like Vegas Market or High Point, and that's unique to Los Angeles and locally and made. Jeannie, tell us a little bit. I know you designed a space last year at WestEdge. What was that like from the designer's perspective, and how much work went into it?
Yeah, we designed a space last year with Sony LifeSpace UX and using the product that we have in our showroom. So it was just showcasing unique, different, showing how a designer can put together, incorporate electronics into a living space. It's just not electronics. Mm-hmm. Yeah, WestEdge is my absolute favorite show to attend here on the West Coast. What Troy didn't mention to you is that it's unique from any other show in that, it may be one of the smaller shows, but on one of the hangar there, the whole wall is gone and it leads to the outside. So it's just quintessential indoor, outdoor, quintessential indoor, outdoor show space. So just the way we live here,
You don't feel like you're in the bad lighting convention center. When you come out of it, you're like, where am I?
No, it's lots of really beautiful natural light. And that's what I love about it. You just don't feel like you're boxed in there. You want to hang out there. There's a lounge that the outdoor lounge is connected to the show space, and that is it is show space as well, right, Troy? The outdoor.
It is. We have that beautiful outdoor lounge, which this year Vendôme is sponsoring. Les Jardins will be providing some of the lighting. We have a secondary lounge, which is sponsored by Karma, who's our automotive sponsor. Jeannie, thank you for reminding me about the hangar. I've talked about this for 6 years, so I oftentimes forget. The hangar is, I would say that everybody who comes to WestEdge, there's 3 general things they say about it, but always at the top of the list is they love the venue so much. It's right on the taxiway at the Santa Monica Airport. So for the duration of the show, you'll see all the private jets taking off, which is a noisy interruption every 15 or 20 minutes, but it only lasts a couple seconds. But it just has so much character. So thanks again, Jeannie, for mentioning that. I forgot to talk about the hangar.
Yeah, and I'm excited about, you mentioned Les Jardins and their lighting that they're providing for WestEdge this year, but that's all solar powered lighting, and it's leading the pathway from the entrance from the street, right, to. So that's going to be spectacular for the opening night party at night, to have that all illuminated.
That's amazing. What is this opening night party? And unfortunately, I'm so bummed because Jeannie, just so everybody knows that's listening, has been urging me, you have to come to WestEdge. You have to come to WestEdge. So I thought this was my year. And unfortunately, I have a prior commitment. I can't make it. But tell me about the opening party, because this is the most talked about party, I feel like. And I really have a serious FOMO already. And why?
Is that good?
A lot of designers in LA, they might not be in Santa Monica, they might be in Sherman Oaks, they might be on the outskirts of LA, and you know how it is, and getting in the car and dealing with traffic. But why do designers, what is the power of actually being at that opening night party? Tell us.
Well, I'll give you just a little history. So this is our 6th year, and we decided the first year we wanted to do an opening night party, and it was great. It was it certainly has ballooned into something much more significant since then. But I think we constantly assess why the party is what it is, and I suspect, and this is just my own opinion, but in LA, as everybody knows, it is very difficult to get anywhere at any particular time on any given day. So I feel like the design community doesn't necessarily always have all the opportunities that we had in New York, for example, where you throw a party and everyone could be there in 10 minutes. In LA, it's a real investment in time to get to our party. So I think what the design trade likes about our parties is that they can see they see very little or maybe not at all during the rest of the year. You've got all the people from the major design firms like the Genslers and the HOKs mingling with the independent designers, both well-established as well as emerging designers.
Sometimes you have celebrities.
In general, people have really loved the. Sorry, did I cut someone off?
No. I was going to mention sometimes you've got celebrities there too that are mingling amongst the crowd, and that's really, and totally unassuming. They're design enthusiasts just like everybody else. So.
Jeannie, you're one of our celebrities, so we can further about that. So, LA celebrity. No, it is good. We get, for example, Terry Crews. Although Terry is not going to be there again this year, Terry's been very involved with our fair. He's doing one of the pieces for our silent auction, which I'll talk about momentarily. But we have had success. We'd of course love more of a celebrity component, and that's great. It's very difficult to get celebrities wherever, but I think from our exhibitor standpoint, the people they really want to meet at this party are the high-level architects, interior designers, et cetera, and that's who they're getting to engage with. The party is floor-wide, so we always encourage the exhibitors to stay in their space. Certainly enjoy the party, but stay in their space just in case that editor or that principal of a firm or whomever stops by. It's it's a great audience. It's a very, very well qualified audience, and those people come throughout the weekend. But the party is just such a sort of a mass collection of them. It's always been a good time, and I think that's why the party now has the reputation that it has. It's also a charity benefit, so we always try and use the wealth and influence that's in attendance to benefit a charity partner. We've worked with different organizations. We try to spread the wealth. We've worked with organizations like Heal the Bay, the A+D Museum, the Ronald McDonald House. This year, we're working with an organization called Safe Place for Youth, or otherwise known as SPY. And it is an organization that whose sole purpose is to offer safe haven for homeless youth and any number of programs to get them back on their feet. These are people that may have been kicked out of their homes because they're gay, or because they have a drug addiction, or I was hearing some stories last night about the different youth that take advantage of this program. It was really quite moving. So we're very excited to work with SPY this year. And one of the more exciting points about this year's party, we've partnered with Knoll, and they've provided 15 reissued Bertoia chairs. So we're going to be having 15 architects, designers, celebrities, influencers reimagine these chairs as one-of-a-kind art pieces. And those will be up for silent auction during the party, and then they'll be on display for the remainder of the fair. So to partner with Knoll on this particular chair with these particular architects and designers has been a really gratifying experience this year. We got a sneak peek at one of the chairs last night at our kickoff event, and I think everyone will be in for a treat with these amazing creations.
That's amazing.
Troy, who are the designers and influencers that are designing these chairs, and how many are there?
So there are 15. So we've got, as I mentioned, Terry Crews is doing one. Gensler has taken one on, which is going to be, again, I got a little sneak peek last night. It's amazing. Joey Shimoda, architecture and design. The Caliber Foundation, which is an organization dedicated to removing illegal guns from the streets all over the country. Two of the designers that support the Caliber Foundation, Doug Schwartz and Tracy Heiner from Black Crow Studios, they'll be taking on one of the chairs as well. We've tried to keep it a real diverse mix of professions and personalities. So I think the chairs are going to be, something for every taste, let's say.
And truly one of a kind, I'm sure.
Absolutely one of a kind. No multiple production here. It's one of a kind art pieces, and we hope they raise a lot of money for SPY. It's a very important organization. So
that's really amazing. Wow, I didn't even know that. See, you will learn things. I've looked over the website, I didn't even know that. So, and that is the power of really being there, is seeing these chairs, meeting people, networking, finding new products. And I think that, like Jeannie said, you never know who you're gonna meet, so dedicating 3 hours and sitting in that LA traffic or taking an Uber, it will be totally worth it. So tell us a little bit, and Jeannie, you guys both probably have, and I looked over the lineup, and I know we did Ivy's Guide to WestEdge, and we're happy to email that out to anybody who wants it. But from an educational standpoint, what are the must-see panels that designers should attend on Trade Day?
Jeannie, do you want to go first, or do you want me to start?
Why don't you start on the panels, and I can tell them, some of the lines that I'm excited to see on there.
Okay. That sounds great. So the programming, like the Knoll chairs I was just describing, it's a very diverse topic mix. There's some CEU accreditation available. We have influencers and luminaries and whomever moderating these panels. This year, we're very pleased to be partnering with Convo by Design. Josh is the owner of Convo by Design. It's a podcast series. He has been involved with WestEdge for the last, I think the last 4 or 5 years. And this year, he's done such an impeccable job of curating panelists and promoting those seminars that we've actually made him the title sponsor of the official WestEdge Theater this year. So Josh will have a much bigger presence. All the conversations will be recorded and broadcast through his podcast. But as far as the programming, I have to be honest with everybody. In in the 6 years that we've been doing WestEdge, I have yet to have an opportunity to attend any of our panels. My business partner, Megan, is an absolute expert at this. She coordinates everything. She organizes all these speakers. I'm typically more consumed by things going on the show floor and whatnot. But all that said, we've had great feedback on our panels. They're typically standing room only. I think the color mix forecast by Sherwin-Williams is something that will have broad appeal at this year's. I'm scrolling through the programming page here. Anyone can go to it.
Troy, do you know if, Sherwin-Williams recently launched their color of the year, Cavern Clay, I believe. Is that going to be making an appearance at WestEdge at all?
We are in the process of finalizing that this week. We hope so.
Okay.
But there are many, believe it or not, even though we're just 2 weeks out, a lot of things come together at the last minute. So
believe me, I know. I've been there. Remember, I used to exhibit.
you have a firsthand experience with this, Jeannie.
Yes.
But yeah, I would say you will unquestionably see a number of Sherwin-Williams palettes throughout the show, from the moment you arrive in the registration area until you're walking through the exhibit spaces, which many of them will have Sherwin-Williams featured. But we are still talking about some other areas and the color palettes and whatnot. So more to follow on that, but check back on our website for details.
I caught a peek of pictures of what they're planning for their booth, and it's going to be pretty amazing.
Oh, right. Yes.
Lots of color.
They are our official paint sponsor this year. So not only will they have an exhibit space, but they are the key paint brand. They're
providing all the paint for all the booths, right?
Providing all the paint for all the booths, exactly. So they're making a pretty significant investment, and we've worked with Sherwin-Williams for years, and it's a great company with great people. So they're going to do something spectacular. I'm not surprised to hear that they have something really special planned for their space.
Great. And what other programming? Just if you scroll down a little bit, I'm just interested to see what other programming. And I see you have some CEU accredited panels, which is great. Awesome.
I see there's one with Kelly Ellis and Erica Heat, and that's going to be awesome. Kelly's always entertaining.
It looks like, I see a couple with Kelly. And then if you scroll down a little bit with Barclay Butera, Global Design Inspiration, all about Paris and Maison, which looks amazing. Okay, that looks like something not to miss. And it looks like there's a full jam-packed day of programming. Jeannie, last year, I know you had a booth, so it was like a little bit overwhelming. Did you get to go to any of the programming?
I did not get to go to any of the program because I was in the booth the entire time. Lots of traffic, not only trade designers, but also consumers. I'd say the majority of the designers come in, they come in for the opening party, but also Friday designated trade day, Troy? Yeah.
It is. We do allow VIP consumers in on Friday, but primarily it's really geared. All the programming, all the activities are really geared towards the interior design trade.
Yeah. And then Saturday and Sunday, you do have the trade coming in, but then you have a lot of the end consumer coming in as well.
We do. The trade is really our bread and butter, and so we dedicate Friday specifically for them. Given the LA traffic patterns that I alluded to earlier, we actually get quite a large trade attendance on Saturday as well. Perhaps even more than the consumer audience, which we certainly welcome the consumer, but we're really interested in creating something special for the trade. So Sunday, you'll see a mix of everybody. Sunday is really more of a consumer day, I would say. But Friday and Saturday are really more, certainly any designer coming on Friday or Saturday, you're likely going to see your contemporaries on site.
Got it. And Jeannie, how long have you been attending WestEdge, and why are you personally the most excited to attend this year?
I've been attending for exactly. You and Megan both. But I've been attending for 5 years. 3 years this will be my 3rd year as a designer and 2 years as an exhibitor. So I've seen both sides of the fence. Like I said earlier, it's my favorite show to attend. As you've seen my designs, I love anything unique, different. Don't like to follow the crowd, and that's what WestEdge is about. Like Troy said, you've got, some of the larger companies, but then you also have, the makers around town, from LA and then from other areas of the country. I think there are quite a few from Brooklyn. Is that correct, Troy?
We do. Brooklyn is represented for sure. Really,
Yeah,
all of New
it
York
always
this year.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's what I really look forward to. And I, even though I may not be using some of the things that I see for a project right away, I snap pictures of everything, I keep it tucked away, and then I always go back. And when I'm looking for that special something, I go to what I've seen at WestEdge. So lots of really, really cool lines that I've seen in the past, and then other ones that I've been dying to see that have only shown in New York, and then they're showing for the first time here in LA at WestEdge. So
that's a good point. Could I add just a little bit to that? So Jeannie makes a great point. A lot of the brands, especially these smaller independent designers that are participating in WestEdge, a lot of them don't have any distribution in Los Angeles or even the West Coast for that matter. So any of you more regional designers in LA or Southern California, this is WestEdge will be your first chance to see these people unless you travel to some of the shows during New York Design Week, the ICFF or whatnot. A lot of these brands are participating in WestEdge, hoping to connect with local showrooms, local designers. They are so hungry for a piece of the West Coast pie, as everybody is these days. So it really is you will not leave WestEdge without discovering a new resource that you haven't seen before. I feel comfortable guaranteeing that to everybody who attends.
That's amazing. I think that bringing the New York and designers and really spreading that to the West Coast, which for some designers, it is hard to, there's so many different things that they want to see, and to have it in one place and have it easy for designers to get to. How do you source though, Troy? Like, how do you, Megan, find these local designers, like these Brooklyn designers that you're speaking of, these curators that are really, independent, but have really unique product? What is your background being able to source these makers?
So
it's 10 o'clock.
It's a process for sure. Regrettably, we're trying to create an event that caters to the interior design trade. You have to take that curatorial approach I was talking about earlier. So having done this for 20 years, since I was 10, we've been to every show in the world. We are constantly traveling. We are constantly online, constantly reading the publications. It is never-ending homework. I will tell you that having spent 12 years in New York, we were able to forge the most amazing relationships with a lot of those designers that we're talking about. And thankfully, through their involvement and their support, the newer generation of designers is now hearing about us from their mentors. So a lot of it's word of mouth, but it's just a lot of travel. You have to be at every trade show, as Jeannie well knows.
And I see you at a lot of trade shows all around the country, so he's not kidding.
We attend the European fairs. We attend the as many of the U.S. fairs as we can, but we're typically at a show, at least one show every single month, maybe other than the month of July or August. But no, that's not true. August we are at a show. July is really the only month that we are not at an event. So it's just it's an ongoing, as all of you on this call know, this business is entirely about relationships. So forming these relationships and supporting these people and having them support you back through spreading word about our event is key to the success that we've been able to enjoy so far with WestEdge.
And Trey, you do such a great job. You and Megan do a great job about curating. I hate that word curating, but that's, you get the best of the best. Every year I've attended the fair, it's always, there's always something fresh and new. You don't go in and like, it's always very eye-opening.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We've had positive feedback from the trade about the sources that they're meeting at the event. Believe me, there are 10,000 brands I would die to have at WestEdge, and we're getting them, 10 to 20 at a time. So it'll only take another 300 years or so. But WestEdge, we continue to try, and certainly we want to maintain a fair amount of our current exhibitor base, but it's always critical to bring in new resources for those designers, especially those in LA or Southern California that might attend year after year. We want to give them something new to look forward to. So it's always a balance. Everyone on this call knows what it's like to balance your business. So we're not doing anything special or out of the ordinary. It's just that we're on the other side of the business than you guys are. So together, hopefully all of us can support these great resources that are going to be present at WestEdge.
I think it's interesting, Troy, between Ivy and WestEdge that there's a lot of synergy. You spend day in and day out finding these people to be at your show. We produce a lot of different types of content, whether it's webinar content or in-person events, and I really value the piece of education. And if I'm going to put together a panel, I really want there to be a takeaway, some actionable step that the designer can learn or go back home and be like, oh my gosh, I can do this to my business and I'll make X amount more dollars. Where for you guys, it's like you don't want to just be producing a show that year after year. It's the same show and it's consistent. You want to wow your designers, and you want to build, and you want to bring in different designers from across the world, from across the country, and bring designers into a space where they are going to each different booth and learning something new about a product. You're bringing in the technology. Like Jeannie said last year when she was like, get on the plane with me, we're going to LA, we're going to WestEdge. And I was like, I understand why you're so interested. Like, I've been to a million design fairs. And that's why we're so excited to be partnering with you to really of education to our design community, and obviously looping in Jeannie, who is the mastermind behind WestEdge, and we will be doing an Instagram takeover. So we're really excited about that because Jeannie is really good about going into like the nooks and crannies and finding all the things that people go to the same show as Jeannie and they're like, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
She is like a Sherlock Holmes for sure. So she if you follow Jeannie or read her blog posts or whatnot, you see what she can identify as great design. So, but to your point, Risa, I think Ivy, there are so many parallels between Ivy and WestEdge, which is why we're so excited to work with you. Ivy is really it's another iteration. It's like a year-long trade show or a year-long WestEdge design fair. I think it's critical that on-site events and online events complement one another. Mm-hmm. And the way they do that is, I think the on-site events like WestEdge, they give designers a chance to sit in the chair, feel the textures, see their contemporaries, have a cocktail or two. It's an experiential opportunity. Whereas online, you've condensed all this amazing information and all these incredible resources to one site. And designers can find, I'm sure they can find whatever they want and more on Ivy. So I think the two, not only are there a lot of parallels, but I think they really complement one another. So we're excited.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, the value of attending in person is being able to see that product, to touch it, to feel it, being a part of it. And you don't see that online. And that's why I always urge everybody, go to the trade shows, see what's out there. You really, in order to spec the product for your clients, you really need to understand all that.
And we talk a lot about like creating a profitable business model and being the best designer that you can be. And I think that ties right into what you're speaking to, Jeannie. The more knowledge you have about how a product was made, about the durability, about the touch and feel, if it's indoor, outdoor fabric, and Jeannie is a wealth of knowledge in there. So there's any questions, which I don't know how you have time, which we really believe in the community over competition. And I think that, yes, you can get design information from your peers, but I also think, to your point, that there is something of you touching and feeling, and that will help you grow as a designer and gain your expertise and make you more sellable to your clients and your potential clients.
You're absolutely right.
It's very aptly said.
And the other thing that I want to talk about is, if designers are thinking about coming to LA and they're, oh my gosh, I could really use a break. It comes at a perfect time. So those out of town guests, tell us a little bit about your go-to. And I have actually a nice long list that we're happy to send out to our listeners today. Megan, I think, put together like a go-to agenda with the top restaurants. But also I want to hear not only just restaurants and bars and all that fun stuff, but top design spots in LA that are new and upcoming. We just did an event at Tabarca in LA, at Tabarca Studio, and that was an amazing location. So what other design spots can designers kind of tag team and go to WestEdge and also go check out?
Well, I love going to downtown LA. The downtown Arts District is a great place to go. Just walking around, there are tours there. The Broad Museum. It's free, but you have to either you stand in line for a long time or you make your reservations now ahead of time. Abbot Kinney is a great place where there are a lot of cool, hip California style stores. You know, it's all about lifestyle.
And restaurants. Jolina's over there too. I saw that on Megan's list, and it's one of my favorites. So
the La Cienega Design Quarter. But that's, I think, that will be closed on the weekend, I think, though. But anything else that you can recommend, Troy?
I think the La Cienega Design Quarter, of course, but also broader West Hollywood. The PDC, the Pacific Design Center, I don't think would be open on the weekend, or maybe it's, I don't think it's open on the weekend, but there are an infinite number of design shops, and not just interiors, but fashion and art and amazing food. There are so many retail spaces surrounding the PDC in West Hollywood. You could walk for hours and hours and see something new around every corner. So I would definitely recommend that area. And then for those of you who want to mix a little bit of work and play, I'm partial to the coastal communities. So Santa Monica, Venice, Manhattan Beach, drive down the Pacific Coast Highway or drive up the Pacific Coast Highway and check out the view. California has such an abundance and wealth. Well, most of you are probably local, so I'm not telling you anything you don't know. But for those of you who aren't local, definitely take advantage of the topography of California and the exquisite environmental beauty that surrounds you everywhere you go. Mountains, sea, desert, whatever you want, you can get a little taste of. So, Risa, I think it would be a great idea if you wouldn't mind sharing that list with everybody rather than going through specifics. I think everyone can determine what they like as far as their culinary preferences or based on their schedules or whatnot. I think it'd be great for them to have a list just to pick and choose from.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll make sure to add in the restaurant selection and all the stuff that Jeannie mentioned in our Ivy guide to WestEdge as well, so that you can just have that link and that has kind of all of the panel information, all of the programming, so we can just layer that into the guide that we created to WestEdge. Not a problem.
That would be so helpful.
There's a lot of cool stuff to see. I mean, we got a sneak peek of some of it last night at the Ferguson launch party, and it was sponsored by Jen Air, and we had a sneak peek of what they're going to be showing. Limited edition ranges in smoke and brass, and then leather paneled refrigerators. Just one I guess a series of 30, a limited edition of 30, and that's what I'm excited about.
That's amazing. We might have to do a little sneak peek or behind the scenes on our Instagram account.
Yeah, because there's a little smart technology mixed with fashion, and it's right up my alley.
I love that. We'll make sure that we email everybody with the guide to the WestEdge and with Jeannie's handle, our handle, WestEdge's handle as well. We're the IV.co, and you guys are WestEdge Design Fair, right? Your handle?
WestEdgeDesignFair.com, exactly.
Perfect. We'll make sure that everybody has all that information. And I actually think I answered. Oh, Tara already put it into the chat. So you could find it in the chat right there. And we'll make sure we also follow up by email. Just wanted to close out. We've answered actually most of everybody's questions, shockingly. And then the big thing that I want to just take away with is Jeannie, Troy, Jeannie, you can share with us your best practices for making the most out of WestEdge, because you're so experienced and you've been going to WestEdge since the beginning. And I want to hear from your perspective as well, Troy.
I'm
Okay.
equipped with a camera. You know, you got to take pictures of everything. And I mean, I always, you know, that's why I have 54,000 pictures on my phone, because I always refer back to them. Go through the WestEdge website and really go through that programming. Make note of what you want to see. Look at the exhibitor list. Visit those websites and really dig through. Because you know, it is small, so they might not have everything on display. So you know, if there's something that you see on their website that they don't have on display, at least you can ask the company about those items. Okay. So yeah, I mean, that's what I would do to get prepared.
Okay. Troy, what about you?
So I second all that, of course. I would also add, again, going back to the opening night party, it really is an extraordinary opportunity to have a good time, but be inspired at the same time. So consider the opening night party. If you can't make it on Thursday evening for the opening night party, there is if you go through the feature areas and programming schedule on our website, as Jeannie mentioned, there are several of the programs will be followed with a cocktail reception or champagne toast or things like that. So build some fun in. It's for some of you, it'll be a big investment in time to get to WestEdge and to spend a half day or a day there. So select the programming that you most want to see and build sort of some of the more fun elements of the fair into that. Don't just go to race through the aisles and look at exhibitors, but really enjoy it. Our outdoor lounge is so beautiful. You can sit out in the California sunshine and have a cocktail or coffee or whatever you want. It's such a relaxed vibe. Make sure you have a good time. Wear comfortable shoes, of course.
Yeah.
But I think, again, as Jeannie mentioned previously, going through the website, just sort of combing through the exhibitor list. You don't have to spend an hour doing it, but look at those brands that are catching your eye. Go through as many websites as you can. Just so everyone knows, the website is being constantly updated on a daily basis. So you'll notice some of the brands don't yet have their product image reference. That will all be in place several days before the show opens. So just FYI.
And then ask a lot of questions, because a lot of these manufacturers and makers can do custom work. So you need to talk to them about that.
Yeah, great point. And they love to tell their story. And one of the things about the independent designers is that it's amazing how often you hear how they came to do what they're doing. And they want to tell people about it. And typically the stories are pretty interesting. From hearing tens of thousands of those stories, I can attest to the fact that most of them are pretty interesting. So get to know the exhibitors. Everyone at WestEdge is always in such a good mood. It's so different than other trade shows, so no one really minds chatting or telling you what you want to know, or talking about how they can customize products for you or anything like that. So just enjoy it. Make enough time, of course, but overall enjoy yourself and discover some new things.
Lovely. Well, that makes me very jealous that I will not be there. And I will be living vicariously. Normally, you know that I would say yes to you this year, Jeannie, but we really hope that all of you designers that are listening are able to make it. If you have questions after or before, please let us know. I'll shoot you over my email address so that we can field through those questions. We don't want to overwhelm Troy. He's a very busy man.
Well, you know, if anybody needs to reach out to me, feel free to. So
yeah.
And me as well.
Jeannie, watch out what you hope for, because you're going to be leading your own Jeannie tour at WestEdge. Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for your time this morning. We really appreciate it, both Troy and Jeannie. I know you have a lot going on right now, and we hope that we gave our design community a little tidbit, sneak peek, kind of behind the scenes of what's going to happen at WestEdge, and we hope to see everybody there in person. Definitely follow both of our Instagram accounts, which Tara will drop into the chat right now, and we'll see you soon.
Perfect.
Sounds great. Risa, thank you so much. Thanks to Ivy, and thanks to all of you for tuning in.
You're so welcome. Jeannie and Troy, we look forward to seeing you, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Perfect.
Great. Thanks, Jeannie.
Okay. Bye.
All right. And go ahead and stay on with me, designers, because we're going to share a little bit about Ivy and what Ivy is. And Troy and Jeannie, you can go ahead and pop off whenever you get a second. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We just want everybody to understand while they're on the go, while they're at design fairs, while you're shopping, how really to manage your business in the best way possible that will allow you to make more time for design, allow you to have the day, a whole day to go to a design fair to be sourcing that product for your clients. So without further ado, you should be able to see my screen right now. I believe I'll make it a little bit bigger. And just want to turn my camera off so you don't have to look at me while I'm talking, and show you a little bit about Ivy. So right here, let's say you went to your WestEdge and you found the product that you want to buy. What you can do with Ivy is you can go to your vendor's website over here, and you can actually just clip the item right into your Ivy account. So pretty easy. You have a little clipper that is onto your Chrome browser right here. It's just an extension, and it allows you to clip the product directly from your vendor's website. Now, Ivy, like Troy said, is not only a community, but it's also a business management tool. And we really want to help you make sure that you're charging your markup, make sure that you're running, the most profitable business as possible, and that you're doing it in an organized, streamlined, intuitive way that looks super branded and on point to your clients. So right here, there's a little space. I can say I want that item to be $2,000, and I can set the markup. And then I can select my vendor. I've pre-populated all of my vendors into my Ivy account. I can add the description right here as well. And I can add this directly to a project, and then I can add all of the necessary details. Now, obviously, your client can see what they should see, and then your vendor will see what they need to see with all the vendors and the SKU and the description. So we are very smart, and we understand how interior designers work. We have, since our beginning, we've been around for just over 2 years, touched base with so many different designers, and we know designers work different ways. But yes, if you want your client to see the vendor information, they can, but by default, it will automatically hide the unnecessary information that they don't need. You can select the dimensions, you can save the product right here. And then that will just pop right into my library so I can reuse this item as many times as I want. So this is a proposal that I've already put together, and I can go in, I can edit this proposal, and I can click this button, and it will allow me to drop my new items onto my proposal. I can also check out my whole product library right here, which is pretty awesome. And of course, you can also use this to create these amazing paint boards, and your services are all listed out right here as well that you can add in. So Ivy gives you a lot of flexibility. Now, when I talk to a lot of designers, they're using QuickBooks, Excel, Harvest, a separate time tracker. The idea is really give you all of those things in one place and make it look pretty, right? Because you don't have the time to be working in InDesign to create a custom proposal every time you need to send out a proposal. It's pretty straightforward with Ivy, pretty easy to use, pretty intuitive, and looks very branded and professional. And the best part is you can actually take credit card payment from your client. So I can send this proposal to my client. I can ask them for a credit card or bank transfer. Credit card, the processing fee is just about 3%. Bank transfer is 1.2%. And then when your client gets this, if I preview it, right here, I can see what it will look like on my client's end. My client can click into it. This proposal looks very organized, very beautiful. You can also generate your own custom tear sheets. So now you have your whole presentation together for your client. So again, it just helps you not be all over the place. It helps your assistant. It kind of helps everybody move along the process from proposal to invoice to purchase order in one place. All right. And then from here, what I can do is I can go ahead, once I get the money from my client, I can just directly create my purchase order. And then I can send this directly to my vendor in the system. Okay, and then my vendor, and vendors love receiving purchase orders directly through the system. It makes their life so much easier. I can send this PO directly to my vendor. has all of the details. I can plug in my estimated ship date. If I do that, then everything will fall onto my project management calendar. So you have a calendar with to-do lists. It looks like October is pretty empty, but if I go to the month before, you'll see everybody's to-do list items, and you can see what's been done and when things are shipping. And then we also give you this beautiful project tracker, which is kind of like a project schedule. It allows you to generate your FF&E schedule. It allows you to download all of this information into Excel. You can easily edit all of these columns. You can pull a profit, not a profit and loss, sorry. You can pull a report so you can see how much you're making on your markup, what your income is like from your different sources in terms of hourly billing or markup on product. And I can easily edit this right here. I can see my accounting and all of my scheduling information as well. So this is really the hub of the project, where you can see the overview, you can see the products and services breakdown, I can see my time billing, I can see anything, any notifications coming up for that project, and then these are all the things I can do within this project. You can add on your assistant. It's really easy to get up and running in Ivy. If you're transferring from another software, we can help you with that process. Ivy is based in the cloud, so you can use it from anywhere, from any computer. And we actually just launched our app, which is very beautiful and very sleek, and you can use it for time tracking and to-do list items. You can also do that from your desktop. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. The app is just nice because we know as designers you're constantly on the go, so you don't have to have a separate time tracker. You can bill all of that time directly from your phone. And you can mark this not billable. Some people will do a flat fee, but they really want to still track their hours, so you can just mark it not billable, and you can add in your description right here. And it looks pretty similar on the iPhone. It's just in an app, so it's easy for you. And then if you're coming from another software, you can totally import your existing client list and your existing vendor list. I love the vendor portal because you can add vendor tags. So if you can't remember who does like your window treatments, you can just type in window treatments, and this is your vendor for your window treatments, because I added that tag right here. And then you can add in your vendor login and password so that you don't have to change your password every time you're trying to log into your vendor's website. And then the other great thing is that you have this amazing product library, so that you can see everything that you've ever clipped, and it actually will take you right back to that vendor's website so that you can use that product as many times as you want, or you can check and see if the product is still available. So that's really nice, and you can filter, you can type in like, I want to see all of my sofas, and that makes your sourcing job a little bit easier. Let's say you went to WestEdge Design Fair, and let's say you saw some really cool lighting that Troy and Jeannie were talking about. Well, just ask the vendor for the tear sheet, clip it, go to their website, clip it, put it in your thing, and you can even add the notes. Saw this at WestEdge, October 2018. And then when you're ready to source lighting for a project, you could just type in lighting right here, and you would be able to find that lighting. So instead of sifting through your email box for that item that you saw at WestEdge, you would have it readily available for you to just drop onto your proposal, get it out to your client, get paid. Ivy really streamlines the process from start to finish. The piece that most designers don't like is this. So we're trying to help take care of that. We want to help you do, designers really open their own design firm, get into it, think that they're going to be designing 24/7. But what ends up happening is design is 20% and project management admin is 80%. So we're trying to flip that equation for you and allow you to do 80% or more of design and 20% or less of admin, and really leverage technology to be your virtual assistant so that you don't have to do all of the yucky stuff. And I just call it yucky stuff because it literally is kind of yucky, and it's stuff that you don't want to be doing. And it's not conducive to driving your top line. It's not helping you make money. It's actually in turn making you lose money, because you need to be spending your time with FaceTime, with clients, with sourcing, completing billable hours. Aside from Ivy, aside from like your Ivy product clipper and your clients and your vendor portal and your business management and your time tracking, what Ivy has really created is this amazing community where you get to meet designers like Jeannie Chung. Jeannie is one of my favorite Ivy designers. I have a lot, so I shouldn't be picking favorites, but why I really care about what Jeannie is doing is because she lends her knowledge to those involved in Ivy. She will share. She will take them on tours. She will say, come to my Pasadena showcase. I'll get you special tickets. Come to my shop. I have these items available. This vendor is doing special pricing. Their pricing is going to go. She really cares about other designers, and she really believes in community over competition. Now, there's a lot of work to go around, and Jeannie isn't afraid to share her knowledge. So that's one thing that Ivy does really, really well, and that I urge you that you will experience when you join the Ivy community. Right here, it's we have a private Facebook group. You can only join it if you're part of Ivy using the software. And this community shares documents, proprietary documents, kind of like your own personal Bible from your company, contracts, Excel templates that you have for construction roadmaps, all sorts of things, employee new hiring documentation that people pay thousands of dollars for a lawyer. People are sharing all of that. So your investment within Ivy for the software goes a really long way in helping you with all of the administrative portion of your business. If you're having a huge client dilemma and you need help, if you can't figure out how to design a space and you need help, just post it in the Facebook group. It's really, really amazing to see the community. I think we have almost 3,000 designers in the Facebook group, so not everybody's in there. And if you're listening and you're using Ivy and you're not in our Facebook group, feel free to join, check it out. Like I said, once you send over your contract, you'll get access to other people's contracts, and this community is really all about sharing. We also, as Troy mentioned, are really big about content. Our marketing team is lean and mean, but we do a pretty good job, I'd like to say, of producing relevant content to help you learn and educate you to take your business to that next level. So we really want to urge you to sign up for your one-on-one complimentary session with one of our Ivy gurus. Tara will drop the link in here just while I'm chatting so that you can get access to that. And again, it's just 20 minutes, really quick and easy. Definitely want to make sure that you get all of the information that you need. So please, please, please join us at WestEdge 2018. It's going to be amazing. It's on the 18th, I think, which is a Thursday. That's the opening night party. And definitely please let us know if you want to schedule your one-on-one complimentary session with Ivy. Tara just dropped in the link for us as well. But we really look forward to it. If you have questions about WestEdge, feel free. You can email me, Risa, R-E-I-S-A, at ivy.co, and Tara will drop that in as well. But we really are looking forward to seeing you at upcoming events. We just did something in LA and we had a great turnout there. I think we had over 150 designers at that event, and it was super educational. And I know that all of the content that's planned and all of the programming that's planned for WestEdge will be really exciting, and really, I know it's a lot, like Troy said, to take a whole day out, but please, we urge you, it's going to be amazing. It's a beautiful setting. Connect with your other Ivy designers, connect with Jeannie, follow us on Instagram as well, because we'll be doing a really fun takeover. So that's all, folks, and thank you so much for joining us today. I know I took up an hour of your time, and I want to be cautious of your time. I know it's a busy season. Let us know if you have any questions, and we'll see you soon. Thanks again. Have a great Wednesday. Bye.